The lynching of my son has shown me that what happens to any of us, anywhere in the world, had better be the business of us all.
Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Sammy Leggett here representing TeamJVS, here to give you guys a authentic review from New York Film Festival 60. Yes, I was able to see a few different movies already, and the first one I wanted to talk to you about, you have to know about, is Till. And yes, that is the story of Emmett Till, centered from the focal point from the mother, that is Mamie Till. This is the all-star cast. It's got Daniela Deadwyler, it's got Jalen Hall, Frankie Faison, Whoopi Goldberg, Sean Patrick Thomas, and a slew of amazing other talented artists. Now, Danielle Deadwyler is playing the role of Mamie, and Jalen Hall is playing the role of Emmett Till. So those are the main leads for sure. But you got Whoopi Goldberg is playing Elena, that is Danielle Deadwyler or Mamie's mother. And then you've got Sean Patrick Thomas is playing the role of Mamie's partner. That's all I can really kind of say without going into too much of the background. This is, again, covering the horrific, traumatizing, and yet powerful, important moments in history, for Black history, of the story of a young boy in his teens that was visiting family, that was brutalized, murdered, and left with no recognizable features on him, and a mother that dared to find justice in whatever capacity she possibly could for her son. Danielle Deadwyler embodies everything about what a motherly thought, desperation, longing to find some kind of justice for what happens to her son. And if you know the story and you know the links of that, you know this is going to be an emotional ride. The reason why I say that Danielle, she easily is probably going to get an Oscar nomination, because she went through every range of emotion possible. The thing that sets this movie apart is it's not just about the brutalization. Matter of fact, I think I give a lot of credit to Chiney Chukwu, who's the director, and her tact in not focusing in on the brutalization or showing a lot of like what actually happened. If you know the history, you know the terrific things. Matter of fact, they did so much of showing without really showing it, because you dealt with all the backlash. You dealt with seeing a lot of the results of it. And I think that to glamorize or show all that, repeat it, people don't want to see that. It's horrific enough to know the outcome, but it's another thing to have that as the focal point. And I respect them for using enough tact to do it that way, because it's as impactful seeing the result after the fact than it actually the brutalization of what really happened. And again, this takes place on the focal point for Mamie. So in the beginning of this, you're seeing all the different layers of the son. You can see in all different layers of her, how she was apprehensive about certain things, how she was very particular. She had her own set job. She really was trying to stay away from the racial discrimination that's going on, even where she was living at in the city. And it allowed this progression to show a woman that had to legitimately become something different for survival, for the memory, just the memory of her son and what that meant. And then once you get done at the end credits of it, and you realize how long the real result of the justice that was required, it will break your heart. But I think that they used so many different layers to this. I think that the cinematography was really well done. It felt kind of natural. There was never scenes where it was too close up or too far away. You always got an impression of when emotions are being conveyed, whether they are negative, whether they are positive, where of desperation, or whether they are positivity, that's being uplifted, you're always feeling it. And it's in part the way that the actual camera angles are focusing in on what individual moment. There's a scene in a courtroom that literally just focuses in on Danielle's face while everybody else is talking around. Like, you're not focused on the crowd. You're not even seeing the jury. You're just seeing her. And the way they do that, like, it just allows the actors to just go for it. There's a scene where Whoopi Goldberg and Danielle have a scene together on a bed. And, you know, it was built up to this scene, and they allowed them to really, truly just take the script for what it was and show the raw feeling behind the characters and the actual people that this happened to. And I think that they did it so well. Whoopi Goldberg did an amazing job with that. I know I'm talking about performances. The score was easily, to me right now, my favorite score this year. It was atmospheric. A lot of times the score for this, when there's moments where it's just really hard, or then there's moments where I was kind of like, I don't know where this is going to go, or where this transitioning is going to go, or the danger behind this situation, it would just flow with it and it would build. If you're watching this in the theater, you're going to feel it. You're going to understand exactly what I mean by that. And the thing about it is, again, they didn't show the brutality of what really happened, but we get all the aftermath. There's a scene at a mortuary, and when that scene is actually happening and how that plays out, that is probably one of the hardest scenes that I've ever had to actually watch or witness when it comes to being in an actual theatrical environment with other people. Because you're feeling her emotions, you're feeling the severity of the situation, and you're also feeling like, what can be done about this, because this is wrong, this is evil, this is malicious, right? And yet, while this is happening in the back of your head, when the scene is being done, there's something that they do with Mamie as a character, and all of a sudden, and Danielle does this. She does it so well, and this is why I say she deserves an Oscar. Through her expressions and her eyes and her breathing, she literally turns into something completely different. And from that point, it's a progression all throughout. And like, again, Till is easily one of the better films I've seen this year. I thought it was going to be harsh to watch, and it is. Like, it's not something that was easy, but it is very well done. It was shown with a lot of tact. I think the performances were great, and I think that she's up for Oscar contention. I think, honestly, she should be, and I think that she possibly will win. We'll see where this goes. I know I'm buttering up a lot, but I rate this at a 9 to 10 out of 10. I really don't have that many faults with it. It is just hard. It is hard to really watch. There's a special scene for me with John Douglas Thompson and Daniela Deadwyler, and they're on a bank of a river, and he's sitting on a log and she's just standing up, and it's them using exposition and they're using dialogue, but there's something about the tension and the severity of what's really happening from a conversational standpoint that it was breaking my heart. In the time that I was watching this film, I think I cried like maybe 3 different times. And it wasn't because like something was hurting me immediately. It's because I know the history. I know the actual violence. I know why this is happening. I know the injustice of it all. And I know that they're embodying it, but they're not glamorizing the horrific nature behind it. And I think that that is where this movie to me is such a good film and a very important one. If you don't know the story of Emmett Till, you definitely should read up on it and then go and check out this film. Or after you're watching this film, go and read up on it, because it's very important for our history and for history in general. Because at this point, we all have to do our part. We all have to make a difference. And if this movie can bring resonance to the importance of that now more than ever, then I think it's done its job. And I think the cast has done an amazing job behind it. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button, because we have a lot more content coming from New York Film Festival 60. All right, guys, Peace, everybody.
Falling off the top of